State. Unfortunately, I don't really have too many associations with Montclair State other than the fact that I went to Montclair High, and I don't know how much of an association that is. But I truly give honor to God. You know, obviously, I'm going to share a little bit with you guys today, and I hope you go home beyond encouraged, beyond encouraged. Now, a lot of people, they say, oh, your story is so inspirational. And, and sometimes I'm like, man, that's great. And then other times I'm like, there's so much more to get than inspiration. My hopes and my desire, my prayer is that people would get to God in my life. I have no motives. I have no ulterior motives, as to the reason why I'm here, why I do what I do, why I share my faith with such zeal. Other than someone that can experience this love and this joy that Christ has given me. And it's real. And honestly, I didn't grow up that way, so I know if you doubt this thing right now, you're sitting in your chair, you're like, whatever, man, I just want to hear about the Super Bowl catch, dude. How'd you do it? So I'm sure we got some Giants nuts up in here. I just want to hear about that. You'll hear about that too, because that's a part of what God did in my life. But you know what? I grew up believing that all roads lead to heaven. Hey, pick your choice. There's a lot out there. You got Buddha, you got, Allah, you got this, you got that. You got every daggone flavor that'll fit an ice cream cone. And, so that was it. That was cool with me. I lived in a very liberal house, which afforded me to get into all kinds of trouble and make all kinds of bad decisions that I wanted to. By the time I'm 14, I'm drinking. Don't look at me like y'all drinking. You? Golly. Okay. Yeah, by the time I'm 14 years old, I'm drinking, doing my thing with my football buddies, smoking by the time I'm 15, smoking weed, I crack. Smoking weed, and doing all this, doing all this stuff to fit in. But I realized that, everybody has this desire to be accepted, to be loved. And you know what? That's natural. You deserve it. You were created to experience that love. You were created to experience that acceptance, and that, but in a genuine way. What I realized, obviously now looking back in hindsight, is that the only one who can really speak to the values that I have is God. Because man will fail you every time. People are prone to failure. And it's not that you are a failure, it's just that you're not perfect. You can't fill the voids in my life. Because you got issues of your own. It's kind of simple in that way. And so, you know what? But I wanted to fit in. I wanted to do, I wanted to be with the in crowd. So that's what I did. I did those things, and you know what? The funny thing is, they say, you have to be, you have to be a leader. A lot of dudes think that, they oppose as leaders by following. They follow, what is cool. But who sets the status quo? I have more respect for anybody that'll stand on their conviction, on their own person, than to go where MTV is saying. It's cool. Stinking MTV generations. I was one too, I'm not exempt, y'all, I'm just telling the truth, right? So loosen up a little bit. But anyway, I go on and it's just kind of like this thing just begins to build and build and build. By the time I'm a junior, every week I'm drinking a 40, taking the blunt to the head. Yeah, y'all know that too, yeah. Taking the blunt to the head and drinking a half pint of Jack Daniels. That was my weekend bliss. Absolutely bananas for a 16-year-old kid. And that's the lifestyle that I was living. I was doing my thing. I say this: my first love was football. So that's kind of, I never really, I was always fearful of that. So I never let anything get in the way with that, and I just thank God that He gave me success by that. Obviously, I got the full scholarship to Syracuse University. Obviously, none of the drugs and alcohol affected my ability to play. But by the time I got to college, forget about it. there's a few more things to do in Montclair State than there is in Syracuse. I'll give y'all that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can at least, spend mommy and daddy's money, in all the malls that we got in New Jersey. They ain't got nothing in Syracuse. I can tell you that. But Syracuse is just, it's just cold. There's a lot of snow, a whole lot of snow, and more snow. And it used to be a good football team, but that ain't even there no more. So I don't really know what they got right now. Well, let me stop playing. Let's keep this going. We'll be back. But you know what? But I realized all my evils just began to multiply. I'm in that environment where now you're on your own. Now you're making decisions. Forget about it. It was crazy enough that I used to smoke in my own house anyway. But now I got my own house and I got my own liberties, and that just makes it even worse. Well, you know what? At the time we had drug tests, so I was like, well, dead to marijuana. I'm an alcoholic. But I took glory in it. I was foolish. I was young. And that's basically what I did. I could probably count on these two hands right here how many weekends that I missed. I was pretty much a functioning alcoholic. Probably a few of y'all here, you feel like, well, hey, it's cool, it's legal. Probably ain't even legal what you're doing. So we'll bite that in the butt and keep going. But it was wild. It got beyond the point where I was just, drinking with the homies and throwing up and, laughing at each other. You stupid, man, you stupid. It got past that, it got to the point where I was blacking out. Yeah, woo, woo, yeah. It got to the point where I was blacking out. And the crazy thing about it is, you black out, you wake up. I remember, be honest with you, it may sound crazy. Maybe some of y'all had this experience. Woke up, not only do you not know what happened the night before, but don't even know where you're at. I woke up, didn't know where I at, woke up naked one time, woke up, just in some situations where you're like, man, this really ain't that funny. And it's just amazing. I just thank God for His hand upon my life because, hey, after that drink around 11:30, I was gone. So I woke up the next day. And all I got is, my home, of course they're going to laugh it up. They're going to chop it up. You know what I'm saying? You walking down the street, you just falling everywhere. And I'm going, what I'm going to do? I'm going to laugh right with them. But on the inside, I knew something wasn't right. I knew I had some issues that I really need to be dealt with. But God's grace is sufficient. He granted me success. Had my son like my junior year in college, and that was really my motivation. That was the first time where I started thinking about the NFL. And got drafted, kind of as a special teams player with the New York Giants. Hip hip hooray, I'm right back in my backyard. And who was waiting for me? All my homies on the block. And forget about it. It was on now. I had a little change. I wasn't broke no more. I can get more than a nickel bag. Oh, you better believe it. We about to cheap it out. I can get more than a nickel bag. I had intentions, I was going to show them. I was going to shock the world too. I was going to show them I could play wide receiver. But the crazy thing is, we had this chapel that my boy George talked about, and it was wild, and some of y'all have been in church, or some of y'all been in these atmospheres, and he's, usually it's just a kind of a biblical inspirational message in 20 minutes and get going. But this guy, he was compelled that some people needed to accept Christ. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about my little journey in life, and I'm like, man, booty just started to burn. Like, I need to accept Christ. I need to get about this seat and accept Christ. Because I felt like, man, who gets drafted as a special teams player?